So we recently launched a product called CTV Allocator, which uniquely unifies reserved inventory, both linear and CTV, to drive unique incremental reach for brands. And once we unify what you're doing in linear and CTV, we then go into programmatic channels by unifying the learnings and the strategic growth, incremental reach of what we've done by combining CTV and linear into the programmatic space to drive incremental opportunities, as well as minimize waste or overlaps, no gaps, and driving efficiencies at the same time. Only Amobee has technology that actually unifies across linear, CTV, and digital. And we're really excited about doing that. And we recently just had a campaign that just got the results back. And what's amazing is we're able to see a desired reach against strategic audience of 14% less cost for a brand. And then with that savings, we were able to put that back into the platform and reallocate those funds to target incremental audiences on behalf of the brand.
We have gone through the most profound acceleration of change. So if you remember Moore's law and the doubling and tripling of capacity and the speed of that, I've dubbed it that we've got a new law. We've got the accelerated COVID behavior change law. So ACBC, not ACDC, ACBC. And the reason I say that is because I think with a lot of change that we've seen in our industry over the decades, you don't actually viscerally see it, but I think we're seeing it viscerally in the last 12 months. And everyone is talking about this accelerated change. So that's the obvious. How do we react to this, I think, is really interesting. Well, I think the first thing is, at a very macro level, I think we need to connect behavior change, the fundamental behavior changes, to, I think, the data science that we obviously now live in. So we live in a data-rich world. We need a greater degree of unification, is something you use that term, and I love that, unification. But I actually would dig a bit deeper and talk about the alignment that we need behind incumbents versus challengers, linear versus CTV, OTT, digital, programmatic. I mean, obviously, that's a key discussion we'll get into. But I think, and even at a broader level, why we deliver, what we deliver, when we deliver, and how we deliver it is obviously critical. So there's so many aspects to this that we can dig into, some of which we may not today. But I also think what we say and how we say it and when we say it, but a lot of the alignment, unification and alignment is required, I think, around our process.
For our brands at Constellation, the role of connected TV in a lot of cases is to offset some of the reach declines we're seeing in linear TV. Linear TV has played an important role for broad reach brands like Corona and Modelo in the past. But as those ratings are declining, the investments that we're making in linear continue to contribute to increased frequency, and reach is starting to plateau more aggressively as those ratings decline. So that's where we see connected TV and streaming platforms really playing a role to help offset those ratings declines in linear and help complement our plans. And as those ratings declines happen over time, we continue to increase our investments and our overall share towards streaming platforms to really help continue to deliver that broad reach and scale that a lot of our bigger brands are looking for.
I would say a couple things that are new as relates to audience-based planning is to having a clear view of the different types of audiences and creating audiences that have scale behind them that you can link back to, whether it's through attribution or other tools, link back directly to a business outcome. And so I think what most marketers, including Molson Coors, are looking at more today is like getting clearer around the different audiences available and then creating the right message to reach those audiences at scale. And then down the pipeline, link it, like I said, to a business outcome. And so we are, both implementing first-party data solutions where we can, really ramping up our ability to kind of have a view of consumers that have raised their hand that want to know about our brand. Like those are more of your loyal consumer bases, but also really getting clear on what are the types of key behaviors or attitudes for certain consumers that look like those loyal audiences, and then kind of going out and finding them through the media channels that we're buying, including in OTT, so that we can create messaging that resonates with them and hopefully create some consideration of our brands.
You know, the upfront is still an important part of a video mix, because there are benefits that come with the upfront. You know what they are: pricing, availability of programming, the flexibility that comes with an upfront. So listen, we're a big proponent of the calendar year. We have clients that work in both marketplaces, but the upfront, as long as there is a supply demand aspect, the upfront will always still be a part of how we do business. You know, I think what we've learned since the pandemic in 2020 is that flexibility still remains to be very important to our clients. So we will continue to push for a mix of both upfront and non-upfront trading, if you will. Again, the ratings erosion is making it harder to do business in the scatter marketplace, but unfortunately, I think upfront timing will still be what it has been. I think you'll see people come back to the upfront as the world is opening up and budgets are becoming more sound. So the upfront will still be a big part of people's mix, and there's a benefit to it.
Well, agencies have made big investments in sophisticated data platforms. They have established their own notion of identity for the consumers they're trying to reach. They have built their own technology. And I think that within the walls of their company, there's varying levels depending on who you're talking about, but they have some sophisticated ways that they plan and track who they're reaching and who they need to reach. I think breaking that sophisticated knowledge out of their walls and turning it into something that can be actioned on with publishers or with buying systems, that's always been the friction point. And I think as we see this emergence of ID graphs, ID resolution services, that's really the industry's way of allowing an agency or a brand to work with the data that they're comfortable with, that they've invested in, but have comfort that when they go to action against that data for targeting or measurement, there's a nice clean through line, so that all of the investments they've made, all of the processes and analysis they're doing is then able to be realized when they're actually running and measuring campaigns.
The marketplace is constantly evolving with respect to premium video, the different places that it exists, the different ways that consumers are accessing it, the way they want to watch it, when they want to watch it. Day, date, and time, which was the most important thing, even when I was first buying television out of college, for certain things is still super relevant, cultural moments, live moments, sports, etc. But other than that, we see massive shifts, right? And like I said, in terms of consumer behavior, the way that inventory is being packaged, the way that you can access it, the channels with which you can access it through, and even the definitions of the media types. So it's a monster evolution. I'd say everyone knew that this was coming, and a lot of people have been talking about it for a number of years. Certainly we're on our way there, but this year, I think in the upfront process, you'll see more so than ever before, those worlds coming together a little bit more.
For us at Disney, what I remind myself of every day, every morning that I wake up is, over the last 3 to 4 years, we've unified 8 networks and many ad-supported addressable platforms, Hulu being one of them, which is no easy feat, but has given us, I think, a great ground to grow and build a future model, which is where we sit today as you look at all of the disruption that's happening across the market. And so today, as we look at the marketplace, we're getting, we're being asked to participate in two very important conversations. One is all around, Disney's advancements in technology and data, and how we offer that stack to clients to really drive and move their business. And then the other side of that is, how do we continue to accelerate innovation in content, particularly from a connected perspective, right? You've seen all of the disruption. You're living it. We're both living the disruption that connected TV has brought to the market and to consumers. And so we find ourselves, I think, in a really unique opportunity at Disney, but also an opportunity in the marketplace, which is really, doing business differently.